Hey, you found Learning to Surf, where I analyze my surfing to help you with yours. I'm Nathaniel Fife. It's been a long time since I posted a video. My camera broke, but I got a new one and I'm ready to go. Waves should be good. They're kind of unorganized, but there's some size to them, maybe some nice ones out there. I'm hoping to find some gems and have a good ride. See you out there. Woo! So I'm here at the beach. I got here, a fog rolled in. So I can't see the waves at all. They sound loud, but no idea what it's gonna be like. I got the new camera set up. It's calibrating right now. Unless this fog rolls away, there's not gonna be any footage other than pointing to some fog out there in the ocean. Hopefully once I get out there, I'll be able to see the waves and have a good time. Luckily, this fog did roll out eventually, but with the fog and because I was all alone out there, I decided to stay in the whitewater this session for the most part. So for the true beginner watching this, let's talk about riding whitewater. There is a lot I can say about it, but I'll try to keep it short. As a beginner, I feel the best way to get as much practice surfing as possible is to stay in the whitewater for a long while, especially if you're learning on your own. And even now, on sessions like this, I tend to take a break from paddling out back and I fall back on practicing the basics in the whitewater. Surfing in the whitewater is very different from surfing the unbroken face of the wave, but it still has its value, especially when you're a beginner or you don't have regular access to good waves. The main difference between riding whitewater and riding the unbroken wave is that when you're riding the whitewater, buoyancy or floating plays a much bigger role than planing or sliding across the surface of the water. Because of this, your ability to maneuver on the wave is limited, but it's still good for practicing your pop-up and balance. In fact, I can think of 3 benefits of riding whitewater that are especially helpful for beginner surfers. First, whitewater is plentiful. Next, it's great for working on your balance. And third, whitewater is a lot safer. So whitewater is plentiful. You don't need great conditions to have rideable whitewater. As long as there's enough size, any wave will do. You can go out whenever you want, and depending on your endurance, you could get 60 or more waves in 2 hours. That means a lot of reps popping up, and lots of times riding the board, or a lot of time riding the board, and lots of surfing strength building at any time. Next, it's great for working on your balance. Because you're moving slower and moving more with the current than across it, you lose the stability of planing across the water. You're more dependent on buoyancy and balance. So riding the whitewater lets you practice that balance and get a feeling for your position on the board. And next, surfing whitewater is safer. You can still get hurt surfing whitewater, so I'm not saying that you can just go out and be reckless. But when you're riding in whitewater, you'll be closer to the shore. You don't need to be in as deep of water. And also your wipeouts are typically much more controlled. So as long as you don't fall stupidly, there isn't much risk of getting hurt. That's why a lot of times, like in this session when I'm all alone, I feel a lot safer just staying in the whitewater. So now, how do you ride the whitewater? So you can see here, I'm in water that's kind of like chest deep. I've got a floaty board, something like this, 8-foot soft top will do. Next, you just head out far enough to get a decent length of ride, and then when the wave comes to you, you pop up and ride the wave. There's a couple ways to go about it. One, you could stand in waist deep water, and as you see that wave reaching you, you dive onto your board, get a couple paddles in, and then pop up. The other option is to remain sitting or laying down on your board and then paddle, just like normal surfing when the wave comes, and then pop up. If you have the ability to quickly get positioned on your board, I suggest doing this standing on and then diving onto your board method, because you're not going to get your arms tired out as quickly, so you'll be able to get much more reps in. Pop-up on the whitewater is different than popping up on the unbroken wave. It's a lot more rocky because of the turbulence of the whitewater, and it's also more abrupt of a surge when the whitewater hits you. So because of this, you may need to wait until after the initial push before popping up. But you should try to avoid this if you can, because usually you'll get pushed ahead of the wave, and then you'll pop up, and then you'll slow down, and then the wave will catch up to you and just pass you by. So it's better to pop up right away and try to stay connected with the wave by heading slightly down the line of the wave. You can do this by looking in that direction and slightly tipping your board that way. So once you're up and riding, try to maintain your balance by staying loose and staying low. I try to imagine that the center of the surfboard is a tightrope, and I'm trying to balance on it with an arm on either side of the board. So now that you're riding the whitewater, just ride it for as long as you can and then head back out. A couple or three things to be aware of. First, especially if you aren't riding a soft top, be sure to get off your board before the water gets too shallow, or you'll break your fins off in the sand. Soft tops usually have more sturdy plastic fins that won't break off as easy, but you still need to be aware of that for them. Second, always try to fall off your board under control and ready for uneven ground. You don't know exactly how deep the water is or what's beneath you, so don't get hurt landing awkwardly on a shell or in a hole. Third, always protect your head and try to fall behind the board. This way the nose of the board or the fins won't hit you in the head or the face. So I've spoken a lot here, but the most important thing I'd say is just get out there and learn. Don't turn your nose up at the whitewater. At least you're out there. So have fun and keep it real.